Sit back and buckle up. It's gonna be a bumpy one.
There's more in that building than what you can see, Doctor.
You are living with dangerous people.
I'm Lindsay, and this is my review for Suspiria. You know, I really wanted to like this movie. I did. I really tried. But I didn't hate it, but it just frustrated the shit out of me.
It's all a mess.
I'm gonna start off with what I did like about the film, and then we'll get into what I didn't like about the film. You can probably already tell which one's gonna take more time. What I really liked about the film was the dance sequences. They were very visually captivating. The way that it was shot, the movement itself when they're doing the recital, the costumes, which were like a vibrant red, really stood out from the bleak and drab setting. The director took influence from Mary Wigman and Sasha Waltz. And the movement is almost like primordial and tribal and very guttural almost. It's really haunting, the dancing in this film, and I think that's the best thing about it, is the dance sequences and how intense they were and how well shot and well executed. The next thing I liked was the gore. There wasn't a ton throughout. There were a few kill scenes, and then of course at the end there's gore everywhere, but it was well handled, it was icky, it was gross. They did not shy away from it at all. You see bodies getting contorted and mushed into different configurations, unnatural configurations, and you see metal piercing flesh and bones being broken and people cut open and body parts ripped out and skin rotting and disintegrating and heads exploding. It was great. I liked the setting for the most part. It was very drab and bleak and wintry and cold, which I think was a good juxtaposition from the original film, which had all these very warm and vibrant neon colors. And speaking of the original, they're completely different. The only thing that ties them together is the basic storyline of this girl going to this ballet company where there's witches. But also within that setting, there are things that are going on at the time in the late 70s in Germany, because this is set in Berlin, right next to the wall. And there's things going on with the RAF and the Baader-Meinhof movement. And I think what the filmmakers were going for was to kind of parallel what was going on with it in this coven. Possibly. That's the best that I could make out of it, of why that stuff would be in there. I mean, not just to lend realism as to what was going on, but it kind of overshadowed what was going on and influenced a little bit of the action. The music was very good. It was very haunting and really fit well with the dance numbers that they were doing. And it gave the film a lot of atmosphere. Now I'm gonna get into more of what I did not like about this film. And to start off kind of soft, in the beginning of the film, the first 20 minutes, they were using a lot of visual techniques that were utilized in the 70s. A lot of split focus, extreme close-ups, swift pans and zoom-ins. And I thought that was really cool, but it was really inconsistent. The more the film went on, the more sparingly that was done. And I felt if they were more consistent with that, then it would have given more of an identity as to the style of the shooting style of the film. Another thing that I didn't care for was, now don't get me wrong, I can sit through a long movie. That doesn't bother me at all. I've sat through and loved the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings films, okay? I can sit through a long movie. It doesn't bother me. This movie was 2.5 hours long, and it felt like I was in the theater for 3 fucking days. There was so much padding and needless fluff throughout this film. So much could have been cut out because a majority of it, I know that they were going for atmosphere and vibe and style, but none of it added up to anything. In my opinion, most of that extra stuff was completely useless and not needed. Another thing that I really didn't care for was majority of the acting was very well done. You had a great cast. And try as I might, Dakota Johnson just vexes me. I liked her in Bad Times at El Royale. I thought she did very good. And in this one, her body looks incredible, and I know she went through like 2 years of dance training before shooting this, and all that was really well done. But her face was a plank of wood. I got nothing. No emotion, no fear or wonder or excitement or anything. It was just blank the entire time. You could cut to any scene in the entire movie and she'd have the same expression on her face. It was just a blank stare. I got nothing from her character. Nothing. Nothing! Also in this cast, you have the amazing Tilda Swinton, and she is good playing Madame Blanc. However, for some reason, I don't know what, in my opinion, there was no reason behind doing this. They stunt casted her, in my opinion, it was stunt casting, as the old male doctor. The age makeup was great. It was really good. It took me a minute and I'm like, that's not an old man, that's Tilda Swinton. It took me probably the second or third scene that character was in to figure it out. I knew there was something kind of off about it, but I'm like, oh my God, they put Tilda Swinton in old age makeup and made her a dude. And it really took me out of the element of the film. One, because I could tell that it was her, and the other thing was she had this extremely thick German accent and I could not understand a word she was saying, nothing. I'm sure that there was a lot of expository dialogue that she had and information that she gave out because she had the one girl's journal, but I understood none of it. And it's like, a lot of the film had subtitles, which was fine. Why didn't they put subtitles under her? Because you cannot understand anything she's saying. Nothing. Nothing. And the final thing that I'm gonna say about this movie, and the reason why I'm so frustrated with it, is because I have no idea what happened in the movie. I have no idea what anyone's motivations really were. There were hints here and there and a few crumbs of motivation, but by the end, could have been anything. Open for your own personal interpretation because it is so vague. It is so vague. And a lot of times, some of these movies, you don't need all the answers to enjoy them, but they have more meat and stuff in the story that kind of take the place of that. This did not have that. I can handle pretension in a film, but it needs to be grounded in something. And this film, it wasn't grounded in anything for me. Again, this is my personal opinion, and this is the experience that I had watching this movie. I don't think I'll ever sit through it again. Not 2.5 hours. I couldn't. And like I said, I didn't hate this movie. It just really, really fucking frustrated me. Because I think it's such an interesting story and it could be told in such interesting different ways. And for some reason they chose to do this, and it was just not what I was expecting, to say the least. And I'm sure there's a few plus and minus points that I failed to mention. If you're a fan of the original, go ahead and check this one out and just see how it compares. Like I said, they really have nothing to do with each other outside of the base storyline. And this one's an hour longer than the original. But I think they could have done something really great. And they kind of built it up in their own minds greater than it actually was. At least that's how I see it. Well, that's gonna do it for this review. Until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll catch you later.